Welcome to the RadioU Podcast. Coming up, Guac Talk.
Also, it's time to get wicked for good.
All that and more on the way next. Another great episode of the RadioU Podcast on the way for you. We'll start it off with a bit of hockey talk. That way, if you hate hockey, you can just skip right past this part. But the Oilers did get the win over the Panthers last night.
Yeah, it was an overtime win. The Oilers got it done.
Come from behind, too. Battled back.
Yeah, come from behind. A much better start to the series than last year. As you mentioned yesterday on the show, that series started off against the Panthers and the Oilers 3-0 for the Panthers. Mm-hmm. And at that point, it'd still win a 7-game series, but at that point, the Oilers really back against the wall.
Mm-hmm.
So I know the Oilers have to be so excited that they get a lead here in the series.
Yeah, and it was a great game back and forth because the Oilers got the first goal just like a minute into the game.
Mm-hmm.
And so that really set the tone, and you're like, uh-oh, this could be. And last year when the Oilers did win the 3 games to come back and force a Game 7, some of those were blowouts.
Really?
They were. I mean, I think they scored 8 goals in one of the games. They were big blowouts.
Yeah.
So the Oilers score a minute into the game, you're like, uh-oh, this could get ugly. The Panthers actually battled back, took the lead, and had the lead in the third period before the Oilers tied it and sent it to overtime where they won. So big win for the Oilers, but we know how hockey and playoff sports in general, it's not a series until you lose on your home ice.
Yep.
And so the Oilers were at home last night. They've got a hold serve here coming up in Game 2 as well. And then at that point, though, that obviously the Edmonton fans and probably all of Canada going to get really excited.
Absolutely. But you also have to know the defending champion Panthers know that they need to try and make a big statement with Game 2. So they're going to come out swinging.
And they're pesky. And I think I forgot to mention this when I previewed the finals. But it feels like Edmonton has a lot of the advantages. Like they've got a slight edge with a lot of the talent. Mm-hmm. But I feel like, this is not to say that Edmonton isn't a tough team, but Florida's edge is just, they're so tough. They're so pesky and so they just really beat you up.
Yeah.
And so, they're not going to go down without a fight, and they're only down 1-0.
Right.
It's a close game. But I feel like, Florida is going to wear Edmonton down too.
I still believe, as I mentioned when we first previewed this series, that this is going to go 7 again.
Mm-hmm.
And I still think that.
I mean, that would be a lot of fun.
I think it's going to be a fun series. I'm hoping all these games are as exciting as this one, as close, know. That'll make for a really fun Stanley Cup Finals. So I think we'll get 7 games, hopefully all of the games competitive and no blowouts.
You know what? I wasn't thinking about this, but today, it's such a big day in Canada.
Yeah, what is today?
You just had the Oilers, you've got them in the finals against the Panthers. The Canadian Open, their one PGA golf tournament.
Yeah.
Just teed off. But this is big too, almost as big as the Stanley Cup Finals, is that tonight the Canadian football season gets underway.
Wow, it's the Canadian equinox of sports.
It's the Canadian, and the Blue Jays probably play today. Yeah.
If the Blue Jays win, what else could Canada ask for?
I know. I actually am really excited for Canadian football.
Okay.
When you're such a big football fan and you're going through withdrawal, and I'm telling you, Canadian football is definitely better than the XFL or whatever they call it now.
I believe that.
Whatever that spring football league they put on.
That league is no good.
Yeah, not really watchable. Arena football, I didn't even know that still exists. But Canadian football's been going longer than the NFL.
It's been
around. It's a good product. It's fun. I don't know what channel it's on, but find it. It's worth watching. It's exciting.
Maybe for tomorrow's podcast, you can give me a little breakdown of Canadian football and tell me about some of the teams.
Give me time to do some research.
Yeah.
Yeah, because as much as I'm excited about I know the season kicks off tonight, I don't have it. I'm not completely on top of it. Not like I am with some other sports.
Well, maybe just, as you said, take the time to research the 24 hours and then come tell me about it.
I'm definitely a Canadian football casual versus a diehard.
Yeah.
But it gets you that if you're going through football withdrawal, it gets you through the summer.
Yes. Yeah.
And yesterday was a big day for Allie and many others, I'm sure. The trailer for the new Wicked movie dropped. We can't even go 1 year without one of these things. 8772 RadioU. Allie, I'm sure you watched this, right?
I did, but I did not watch this yesterday. This came out late last night. And I got a notification for it right as I was going to bed. And I was like, nope, I was way too tired to be able to actually enjoy it and see what was going on.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to re-wake my brain up. I was already getting to the place where I was ready for bed.
When you get something exciting like the new Wicked trailer, how could you get a wink of sleep after that?
I was like, I will enjoy this tomorrow morning. And
but
I
also,
did.
how could you lie in bed going, the trailer's out and I'm not watching it? You must have been tossing and turning.
No, not at all.
Wow.
Did not struggle to fall asleep at all. I was already, like I said, I was already in the mindset of like, I'm going to bed right now. And I don't have any trouble going to sleep ever. But I do think the trailer looked very good. In fact, so good. I mean, it's called Wicked for Good. But yeah, I thought it looked great, and I'm very excited about it. The one thing I did kind of notice, and I hadn't thought of this before, but I don't know if everybody else agrees with this. I feel like the songs in the second half of the musical are not as strong, or at least not as memorable as the songs in the first half. There are some reprises, so we do get to go back to some of our favorites.
Oh, thank goodness.
From part one.
Yeah.
But there's not as many of like, there's not the Defying Gravity or that big moment. There are obviously big moments, but I was looking through the song list from what they are including in it, and I was like, yeah, you know what? It's been several years since I've seen the musical live, but I was like, yeah, I didn't really remember that many iconic song moments from the second part, but I still believe they are going to bring back several of the songs, obviously, for the reprises, and then I believe there's some original songs that they're inserting
I was going to say, good news for you, since you think the songs in the second half of the musical suck. They decided to go ahead and write some new ones, and it's the original songwriter, Steven Schwartz, whoever that is. Apparently, he wrote all the songs for the original Wicked, and he's back. He's got 2 songs that either weren't good enough to make it into the original musical, 2 rejects, or 2 songs that he wrote, now having Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo in mind. So maybe that, when you've got those kind of chops singing, that maybe that loosens you up a little bit.
I mean, the original...
Take some chances.
The original music and all of that written decades ago. So he could have been working on these for years. We have no idea.
Which could be good or bad.
Well, I mean, he's had time. And so we'll see. But I am excited to hear what those songs sound like. Obviously, as you pointed out, Ariana Grande, Cynthia Erivo, very talented singers. So no matter what they sing, it's going to sound good. And they sang parts of For Good in the trailer, which sounded great. So, yeah, I'm really excited for part 2.
One of us is. Meanwhile, I'm over here hoping that it does not get nominated for any major Oscars.
Oh, it will.
So that I don't have to be forced to watch it.
It will.
The finals are finally on. Tonight, the NBA Finals, 8772 Radio U. Are you picking the Oklahoma City Thunder or the Indiana Pacers to get the job done in the series? I feel like I've made my thoughts clear. Allie, I'm not sure I know where you stand going into the NBA Finals. Thunder versus Pacers. Who are you picking?
Oh, I thought I made myself clear as well. I'm picking Pacers.
You're picking the Pacers. I think you're the only person I've heard in the entire world picking the Pacers.
That's not true. Josh from the Protest is picking the Pacers.
True, but he's biased.
Well, maybe I am too after my Cavs got beat by the Pacers, but I think the Pacers have it in them to win this year.
What are the Pacers going to do that all the teams in the West couldn't do to the Thunder? To take them down?
Tyrese Halliburton, that's what they're going to do.
Okay. That's it?
That's what they're going to throw at them.
He is, what has he got that Ant ain't got? Anthony Edwards, the Timberwolves, he was helpless.
He's got that magic touch. I don't know what to say. He's got something that just makes him get those buckets when you think he shouldn't. I mean, there's so many things you can point to throughout the playoffs so far. I'm about to sneeze. I knew it was coming. But there's so many things you can point to where it's like, how did that bucket even go into, how did he make that shot? And he just did. That's just how it went for Tyrese. He had the touch. He had the luck. I don't know what you want to call it. There's just something about this team that feels like it's coming into place. It's right.
The thing is, I love Tyrese Halliburton. I think he's great.
But I'm waiting for the but.
Yeah, but those great magic touch shots that he's making are when the game is like when it's basically tied at the end. They're buzzer beater shots.
He's clutch.
These games aren't going to be close. The Thunder are going to be. It's going to be over by halftime.
I don't know why you're so convinced of that.
Because the Thunder...
What about the Thunder in the playoffs so far has made you think that?
They've dominated 2 out of the 3 series that they played, and they did dominate much of the Nuggets series.
Do you think the Pacers did not dominate the series they were in? They won 2 of the series in 5 games.
I think they did, but against lesser competition.
I would disagree with that entirely.
I think the Knicks don't play defense the way that the Thunder do. The Knicks were so embarrassed they lost to the Pacers. They fired their coach.
The Cavs had the defensive player of the year on their team.
They were injury riddled.
They had injuries for sure, but I would say that the Pacers convincingly won that series.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Are you just cheering for the Pacers to make yourself feel better about the Cavs losing to them?
It would make me feel better knowing that the Cavs lost to the eventual NBA champions. But I do think that there's just something about this Pacers team that's just different. And I would agree with you. I think the Thunder certainly have looked very good in the playoffs. And I'm actually very excited about these finals. I heard a lot of people being like, who's going to watch a Thunder Pacers finals? I am. I'm excited about this series.
It's going to be fun.
I think it actually will be a very competitive series. And I disagree with you that these are going to be blowout games. I think we're probably going to get 6 or 7 games, and I think Pacers win.
Well, let us know what you think at 8772 Radio U. I think we get 5 games at most. I think the Thunder convincingly win 3. Maybe they mess around in 1, and it's close. And then there's a game, probably game 3 or 4 in Indiana, where they're like, well, they don't come out of the gates hot. They don't come out of the gates hot. Indiana gets out to the lead, and they're like, whatever, we'll win in 5, then we can do it in front of our home crowd. So
okay.
I think this is going to be... I love the Pacers. I don't want to take anything away from them, but I just think the Thunder
you're taking a lot away from them.
The Thunder are so good. They're so good.
And the Pacers haven't shown that they're good, too. Like, there's something about being hot at the right moment.
The Thunder are hot.
Well, the Pacers did not look like this in the regular season, and suddenly this has just turned on.
Why I'm going to go with the team that looked like this all through the regular season and through the playoffs.
Okay.
Authorities in Ohio are looking for a man wearing nothing but underwear and a cape. Seems like a weird thing to want to see, but go off. 8772 Radio U. They're looking for this guy. This has happened in Portsmouth, Ohio, because he allegedly, somebody did this, broke into a Dollar General and wearing nothing but his own underwear and a cape, stole a bunch of women's underwear, took several armfuls of women's I guess 2 armfuls of women's underwear, and walked out the door. This is before the Dollar General had opened, so he shattered the glass, it seems, of the door. And so now all that's left behind is a trail of blood and women's underwear leading out of the Dollar General in Portsmouth, Ohio.
This is such an insane story. I feel like every single day we're seeing more and more stories that point to Ohio being the little brother to Florida with the insanity of what takes place here. So yeah, this is not what I expected to see on my 2025 bingo card at all. And yeah, I think this isn't alleged. I mean, it's alleged sort of. Yeah. But they do have him on camera doing this.
Oh, were you watching it?
No, but there is surveillance footage of him breaking into the store. So.
Yeah, you're looking for a guy who's just wearing underwear and a cape. Seems like he'd stand out. He'd be easy to find.
But I'm sure he's not still just wearing that anymore.
You don't think so?
If you just robbed a store, would you keep wearing that?
That's right. The perfect crime. do it mostly naked, and then put on clothes afterwards, you'll be unrecognizable.
I mean, he's like an anti-vigilante.
Yeah.
Like he's putting on the cape to commit a crime, take the cape off, and suddenly we don't know who you are anymore.
Panty man.
It's the Clark Kent effect.
Yeah. How can we? If he just didn't have his shirt on, he'd stick out like a sore thumb.
Exactly. It's the cape. We just don't know who he is.
It could be anybody.
Not all men wear capes, but when they do they rob Dollar Generals?
They're robbing Dollar Generals. The crazy thing is, this is probably only like the 5th weirdest thing that happened at a Dollar General in Ohio this month.
Honestly, yes. And I feel like we've been talking a lot about these dollar stores and Dollar General stores getting robbed lately.
Yeah.
What is up with that, people?
I bet you the Dollar General employee that did get into work that morning was like, who organized this place? Somebody did my job for me.
Oh.
The women's underwear strewn all over the floor, just the way we like it here.
Yeah, this is how things are normally kept.
Yeah, right next to the motor oil. It's perfect.
Alrighty, Hudson, it's time for Right Up My Alley. As you heard there, I get to quiz you on topics I know way too much about. We ask 3 questions. They get progressively harder. Today's topic, Mount Everest.
All right. Play along at home, 8772 RadioU. You can chime in with your answers. And I haven't done any research on this, but I did just happen to see that Mount Everest, this is a headline, Mount Everest is the new Roman Empire on TikTok.
Really?
Where people have spent a lot of time, thinking about it. And I didn't do any research, but the idea of people looking into the dark side of Mount Everest has become very interesting to people.
There's a lot of darkness. We'll just say that. Okay, first question. Which side of Mount Everest is more common to climb?
Are we talking like north, south, east, west, or?
Yeah, we'll say directionally.
Okay. I'm going to go with the north side, the north face.
That is a side that is climbed, but not the more common side. That's the Tibetan side, the north side. The south side, known as the South Col Route, which is on the Nepal side of the mountain, that's the side that's more commonly climbed. The Tibetan side is known to be a little bit harder, and the success rate to make it to the summit not as high. And that's success rate for summit and also success rate for making it out alive.
Okay.
Which is a thing with Mount Everest. You have to count that in. All right, second question. Sir Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay were the first men to summit Mount Everest, and there is now a part of the summit trek on the Nepal side that's named after Sir Edmund Hillary. What is it called?
The Hillary Passage.
Oh, you're so close. It's the Hillary Step. It's right as you're approaching the summit, there's a little like knob hill thing, and it's called the Hillary Step.
Of course.
And it's actually really easy to get bottlenecked there. They get a lot of slowdowns right at that point because it's hard to climb that part.
Okay.
So, by the way, May 29th, 1953 is when that first summit happened.
That recently, huh?
Yeah. It took a long time for people to be able to get up there because you need so much oxygen, which leads to the last question. How long can you survive in the death zone on Everest, which is above 8,000 meters? How long can you survive in there?
8 days.
Nope, not that long. You would be long dead if you tried to stay 8 days. 16 to 20 hours is how long you have.
I thought you meant me.
Oh.
How long could I survive there?
Well, this is just the average human.
Okay, gotcha. Because you specifically said you, so I thought you meant me, and I could last 8 days there.
No, this is the average human using supplemental oxygen, oxygen tanks, all of that. Don't know how it would go with the new stuff we just talked about recently.
Yeah, the xenon.
The xenon, how well you would survive with that or how long. But I do have a question for you.
Okay. Besides those other 3 questions.
Besides those other ones, because there is some controversy, or not controversy, but there's a theory out there that maybe Sir Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay were not the first to summit Mount Everest. So here's a little story for you, and I want to hear your thoughts on what you think, if this actually happened or not.
Okay.
If these may have been the first ones to summit.
Wait. This sounds too juicy.
Okay.
I think we need to.
We need to save it?
Yeah, we got to pause.
All
we
right,
got to
we'll
make
save
sure we
it.
have enough time to deal with this.
Okay.
So that I can really form
You
my
can dig
thoughts.
in.
Yeah.
Well, our follow-up to Right Up My Alley is a spicy one, Hudson.
It's timely because we're talking Mount Everest.
Yes.
And apparently this is something that people have found a fascination with recently on TikTok too. So
Yes, it really is timely. And honestly, I chose this because we recently talked about Mount Everest with the xenon gas being used and that being kind of a controversy. Well, this is a controversy from many, many years ago because as I pointed out in my Right Up My Alley questions, the ones that are known to first summit Mount Everest are Sir Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay in 1953. Well, in 1924, there were two climbers that tried to summit Mount Everest. And there's some potential reasons why they may have been the first.
Okay.
So these are climbers George Mallory and Andrew Irvine from the UK. They attempted to summit Mount Everest back in 1924, and they were last seen on the Hillary Step, before it was called the Hillary Step, on July 8th of that year. And that's just below the summit. They're very, very close at that point. It is a tricky part of the climb, but they're quite close. And they were making their way upward. So they were literally seen at that point. And the pair were never seen again.
Ooh.
George Mallory's body was found in 1999. He did fall and fell quite far. But Andrew Irvine was never found. But some do believe that they may have been the first to summit.
But does that count if they didn't return?
Here's the thing. They do kind of give a classification to Hillary and Norgay as the first to summit and first to make it back down alive. That is a good thing to do.
And that's undisputed.
Yeah. But there had been no one to summit up until Hillary and Norgay did it. And so I do kind of wonder, maybe these guys did summit, they just fell on their way back down.
Oh, what an insult to injury.
I know, right?
Not only do you die, you also don't get credit for being the first one to summit the mountain that is the most well-known mountain in the world.
Right. Tallest mountain in the world. But what do you think? Do you think George Mallory and Andrew Irvine did it? They were so close. At the point that they were so close. And the weather was good that day.
I mean, why wouldn't they have?
I honestly think they did.
Yeah.
And that they fell on their way down. Because it's a tricky climb. And if you end up with any type of weird weather on your way down, you can get stuck.
Yeah.
So
if you were the first to make it up there, there would be
there's no evidence.
There's no experience either of that would make it even more tricky, of course.
Yeah, to come back down.
Being the first one to do it. So why would we doubt that they made it all the way up and then just fumbled the bag on the way down?
I mean, it could have been that. There's definitely a chance that they could have fallen on the Hillary Step. I'm not denying that. But the fact that they were seen at that point and no one saw them fall, they just didn't see them summit. I'm starting to think. I've had this belief for a while since I watched a documentary about the finding of George Mallory's body, which again was found in 1999. And it's crazy. You can go on a whole rabbit trail of the bodies that are on Everest because they're very well preserved because of the weather.
Yeah.
And so even though this body was from 1924, it was in very good condition.
They probably could have woken him up and revived him.
I don't know about that.
Cryogenically frozen one day.
Yeah.
If the technology advances to do that.
Yeah. Sure.
We need your opinions on the first and worst Muppets. 8772 Radio U. Let us know your picks. Allie and I are going to give ours. And then you get to decide, too, which of us chose better. Allie, you get the honor of going first this time.
Oh, boy. Okay. So I had my first from the get-go. I knew who I was going with because it's undeniable. He's the most iconic Muppet. It's Kermit the Frog. How can you not love him? His voice is iconic. He gives you good advice. He makes you feel good. So I'm going with Kermit for number one.
Yeah, quite a singer, too.
Yes. For worst, I know this is controversial. People are going to be mad. But I had to go with my own heart, my own why, the decisions are mine.
Uh-huh.
And that is Statler and Waldorf.
Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind?
I'm not crazy. I am a very positive person. And I can't do negativity. And they are the most negative Muppets. They're so negative, in fact, that when I was a kid, I used to boo them when they came on the screen.
Well, that's pretty negative, isn't it? They boo sometimes. You're doing the same thing.
That's right. I would do it back to them. Like, I wasn't a person that would boo, but I just was like, I was always like, I'm going to boo you. But
well,
yeah.
This is awkward.
Oh, no.
Because my first pick for the best Muppets is Statler and Waldorf.
You're kidding.
Statler and Waldorf are the best. I just started watching a compilation of their best moments last night because I love them so much. Think of these lines. These are so good. They aren't half bad. Nope, they're all bad. That's hilarious. Do you think this show constitutes cruelty to animals? Not unless they're watching it. That's so good. And this is the best for last. Do you think there's life on other planets? Why do you care? You don't have a life on this one. That's so good.
So good, the music went nuts.
Yeah. So, obviously, Statler and Waldorf are my first pick. For worst, I think this is undeniable. I can't believe you didn't choose this. I was really concerned you would. Miss Piggy is the worst Muppet.
No!
Miss Piggy's horrible.
You were going to pick Miss Piggy. This is a blasphemy. Blasphemy.
Miss Piggy, you said Kermit is your favorite Muppet, so why would you want a Muppet who mistreats him so routinely? And Kermit does nothing wrong.
Kermit definitely does nothing wrong.
Kermit is so innocent, and Miss Piggy's always mistreating him, and Kermit could do better, and for some reason, he's stuck with Miss Piggy.
Kermit and Miss Piggy have also some of the most adorable moments together. You cannot deny that.
No, I can't deny it because I always think, Kermit, what are you doing? You're a maniac. Get away from this woman. She's horrible. She's poison.
What? You are crazy.
She abuses it. She should be in jail. 8772 Radio U, first to worst Muppets. Let us know your picks and let us know who's right, Allie or myself. Allie's first and worst picks are...
I went with Kermit for first, and I went with Statler and Waldorf for worst.
And I have Statler and Waldorf as first and Miss Piggy for worst. Susanna leads us off saying Team Hudson 100%. And Kermit and Miss Piggy are both the worst.
I need to know why you have this hatred towards Kermit, Susanna. I don't know how anyone could not like Kermit.
I like Kermit, but I couldn't pick him as first. I consider him a little too plain Jane. He's a little too much of the straight man for me. And again, my distaste for Miss Piggy, how he stays with her, it honestly reflects negatively on him for not, realizing he deserves better.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, taking control of his life and stop letting her dominate it.
A part of the memorability of, I feel like, Kermit's character is that Kermit and Miss Piggy are always together.
Mm-hmm.
That's the shtick.
Okay. Brian says Hudson 100% right. No competition today. Thank you, Brian.
All right. And then we also heard from Regina, who said definitely Hudson. Miss Piggy is horrible.
Yes.
She says Statler and Waldorf are hilarious.
Yes.
Honorable mention of Animal, which I have to say, I almost went with Animal as my favorite because, he plays drums. How can you not love the rock drummer in the Muppets?
I do love Animal. I love all the members in the band.
Yeah.
I can't remember all their names. Dr. Teeth and Janice and...
Janice is great too.
I can't remember. Floyd is great. All the members of the Electric Mayhem. Jesse said, first Animal, he's just a rock star. Worst, Miss Piggy, she's just too much for me. And
heard from Logan, he said he's with me.
Jesse also said I was picturing Animal drumming for Silent Planet.
Ooh, I could see it.
Yeah, I like
we need
that.
to ask Alex that the next time we talk to him.
Hey, wait, somebody finally voted for you.
Yeah, heard from
Logan.
He said, I'm with Allie. Kermit is an OG. And that's 100% correct. He is. He's the OG.
Well, Landon says Hudson takes this one. Statler and Waldorf are awesome. Swedish Chef is my favorite by a smidgen over them.
Nice.
Swedish Chef was my top honorable mention.
Okay.
I love the band. I love Fozzy. I love a lot of them.
There's just so many good ones.
There's so many good ones. It was hard. It wasn't hard to pick a bad one because it's obviously Miss Piggy. But there's not a lot of bad Muppets. But there's a lot of good ones. And Swedish Chef was very close to me.
And
over
William
Statler
would agree
Waldorf.
with that. He says we're both wrong. Swedish Fish Swedish Chef is the best. Swedish Fish is the best. Swedish Chef is the best. But I think it's funny. We always get at least one text where somebody says we're both wrong.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we only get to pick one first and worst.
Yes.
We don't get to do a whole Mount Rushmore.
Unfortunately, no.
Luke says Kermit is number one just for the brilliant memes with him. That is true.
Oh, yes. The meme of him typing, the typing one is my favorite.
Yeah. Obviously, the T one, too, is great.
Yes.
He has his worst. Miss Piggy, annoying. Is what he says.
Okay.
Susanna explaining why she doesn't like Kermit. He's so insipid. I don't even know what that means. It sounds insulting. Lacking flavor. That's what I said. Plain Jane. Yeah, he's a straight man.
Yeah.
We also heard from William, who said I would agree with Hudson because as you get to be old, you get the right to haggle people. They're the version of any get off my line old or off my lawn old person, but funnier.
Yeah, I don't find that funny.
Eric says 100% with Hudson on this one for all the same reasons that everybody else has said. Thomas says first Kermit, worst Piggy. My love for Kermit outweighs my distaste for Piggy, so I got to go with Allie. I do like Statler and Waldorf though. I think this is a resounding win for me. For Statler and Waldorf.
We also heard from Chris, our very own Chris, and he agreed with a few of the other texters who said Swedish Chef is the best.
Yeah.
The only Muppet with real human hands.
That's right. You gotta love Swedish Chef. Do yourself a favor today. At least I love doing this, and because I did this last night too, watching Muppets. Swedish Chef popcorn. Look it up.
Okay.
It's Hudson and Allie, and we're very excited to be joined by a special guest today on Radio U Mornings. We have former Ohio State Buckeye running back, a legend in the building, Master Teague. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Yeah. So blessed to be here.
Yeah, it's really cool that we get the chance to talk to you. Thanks for coming in. Coming up, you're going to be involved in an event with our band Remedy Drive that's actually going to be for Radio U Ohio. So we want to get some info on that. But first, we can't have you in here and not talk some football. So cards on the table, Master. Here's the deal. I'm a little bit of a Buckeye hater. I didn't grow up in Ohio. I'm not a Buckeyes fan. So here's how I want to ask this. You probably follow the team really closely. Coming up for the next season, what stands in their way from winning back-to-back championships? What can I root for and be like, this is realistic, this could hold them back?
Yeah, I'm not going to give you any ammunition that way. But it's just, I think they have a lot of momentum, and they just have to continue that momentum and not think just because it happened last year that it's just going to be handed to you this year. You got to do even more than what you did the year before. So it's a short-term memory kind of thing, especially with Buckeyes. You win something big, you do something big, and you celebrate it, of course, for a little bit of time. But then after that, it's time to get back to work, and it's time to say, all right, what we are is sometimes it's not like the past. Like what are you gonna do next? Pretty much.
Yeah.
Right. What are you gonna do next? You always gotta do even more the next time, or you're not always gonna be defined by what you did before, but what are you doing now? So it was awesome to see that, and it was great. And but what are you gonna do now? And that's kind of the mindset with them now. There's probably some things, of course, that hold you back. Like any team, but I know they got great coaching staff. I know they got a great mindset, and they're gonna do everything to make sure that they put themselves in the best position, I believe, to make that happen again. And I hope they do.
That's a good point. The human nature, even at if you're a big time athlete, I assume, I don't know from experience, but is that once you accomplish something big, you're like, all right, you can kind of lean back and appreciate it, but you got to push through that. I guess a challenge, or what will help them, but also a challenge, is that they have a lot of turnover on the team, right? So a lot of new guys that weren't there, or at least didn't play as much a role on the championship team, that are gonna have to step into big roles. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, one thing that I wanted to ask you about, I was really inspired by the Buckeyes last season. I've been a lifelong Buckeye fan, so not a Buckeye hater over here like Hudson, but I loved to see the kind of the revivals that surrounded the team. It seemed like a lot of focus was on God, and you saw that all through the playoff, because every single time one of those players got a mic put in front of them, they mentioned that. And I loved that because it showed that their priorities were in the right place. And so speak to that. How did you see that as a former player, kind of what their mindset was with the God stuff?
Yeah, that was powerful. It was encouraging to me, and it was a full circle moment for me because, I played, of course, at Ohio State, and it definitely wasn't that prevalent then. I did my best to share my faith when I could, but to be able to see so many guys doing that this year was tremendous. And I saw the impact, especially being on the outside now, the impact that they really had in the community with the youth, even my own siblings, really seeing that and like, wow, it really impacts their faith. And it's one of those things where when God gives you, when you know who you belong to and where you come from, like, that God is the one that's put you in that position and not you. And he's giving you even the ability to work hard, to be great, to do well in what you do. And for them to just deflect that glory is powerful because, as we all know, especially people here in Ohio worship football, worship the Buckeyes, worship these athletes. And for them to look at this athlete that they worship, this team that they worship, and they see that, no, they're not going to give themselves the glory for that or take that, but they're going to deflect it to the Creator. That's very powerful, even for those, especially that don't believe in that worship sports. Man, they look at these athletes and see how they represent the Lord. And so many people, more than we know, have probably come to the Lord just from one interview from Trayvon Henderson or G. Scott or Emeka or Will Howard, professing their faith. So it was definitely a blessing for me to witness, for sure.
Yeah. Now, even as a Buckeye hater, I had to cheer for that. Like that was amazing to see this past season. Yeah. We're talking to Master Teague, former Ohio State Buckeye running back. And here's what's interesting is that you are connected with a band we play here a lot on radio, a band we love, Remedy Drive. You're going to be involved in a show that they have coming up in Columbus that's all for a good cause, too. It's for Freedom Collective, which is works against human trafficking. So, Master Teague, tell us how you got involved with Remedy Drive and how you got involved in this event.
Yeah, so I think it was about a few months ago, this idea came up that we want to do this concert here at the church next door, which I work at. I do youth ministry there. It's been a blessing to be a part of that. And so we got this opportunity, and of course, we're not going to say no to that. It's an issue that's going on in our nation, in the world. It's very prevalent. It's right under our noses, sexual exploitation of women, of children, even of men. And so we want to bring awareness to that and let people know like what's going on and see and let them understand that they can be a part of the transformation in people's lives and the help that people get, And so Remedy Drive is a band that they've been around for a long time. Early 2010s, I think late 2000s, and they have some pretty big hits. Some people out there probably know a couple of them.
Yep.
I actually didn't know they had a song called All Along, and I've heard that since little. I remember that song. Yeah, I think that was before they really started honing in on the human trafficking side. But they really have a passion for bringing awareness to this and going to any community they can to help and partner with organizations that fight against that evil that's out there. And so they're partnering with the organization here in Columbus, Ohio called the Freedom Collective, as you mentioned. And Freedom Collective, I'm actually just so I don't misrepresent them, I got their website up. I'm just going to pretty much just say what they do.
Yeah.
And so the Freedom Collective, their mission, it says, our mission is to glorify God by bringing hope to victims of sexual exploitation, empowering them to live free, and ultimately abolish exploitation. The mission is possible because of you, right? Sometimes we don't feel like our impact is really that helpful to certain situations that are global, but it is. We all have a voice. We all have the ability to put forth and serve in this way and help people get out of this exploitation, get out of this evil. And so we want to be a part of that. The church next door, Ohio, is sad to say, even they have some statistics right here that I want to share. Ohio is ranked number 7 amongst states that receive the most calls to the National Human Trafficking Hotline. Ranked number 7. And then particularly Columbus, Ohio is ranked number 9 amongst cities across the country.
Wow.
With these calls.
Yeah.
And to me, that's saying, okay, when I'm going to the grocery store, when I'm just out and about, I'm just minding my own business, I'm going about my day, I'm coming across somebody probably that's exploiting a child. You out there are coming across somebody probably that's exploiting a child. And you don't even know. So we want to see change, and as believers in Christ, we're called to help those that are in need, right? And speak for those that can't speak for themselves. And there's actually a scripture I want to share as well in regards to that. And that's Proverbs 3, verses 27 through 28. It says, "Do not withhold good from those to whom it's due when it is in your power to act." It's in our power to act. So why wouldn't we act? Why wouldn't you act when it's in your power?
Right.
And good is due to these people, right? It says, "Do not say to your neighbor, 'Come back tomorrow and I'll give it to you,' when you already have it with you." We already have things with us that we can give to fight back against this. Let's not wait till tomorrow. Let's not wait, let's do this now. And so it's been a privilege to work with Remedy Drive and get this rolling. It's my first time really kind of doing an event like this. So it's interesting to set it all up and be a part of it, but it's a blessing to be a part of it, just knowing that, we're infusing and shining the light of the Lord in this situation, and we're praying, not just praying, but we're acting, right, using our hands and feet to fight back against this. So, yeah.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
It's a huge issue, human trafficking, sexual exploitation. But I appreciate you standing up to it and doing what you can, and encouraging others too to get involved and not feel like it's something that's out of our control. So we're looking forward to the show coming up. That is coming up on Saturday, June 21st, so next week. And you can find the details with Remedy Drive performing in Columbus, and it's all for Freedom Collective. RadioU.com/Ohio. Master Teague, thanks so much for joining us. It's been great talking with you. We really appreciate what you do.
No, thanks for having me. This is awesome. This is great. Appreciate you.
It's Radio U. This is so stupid. 8772 Radio U, but I have to admit this. And I don't know if I feel bad or if I feel proud.
Okay.
I think I might like guacamole.
You do?
I thought
you always hated it.
No, that's hummus.
Oh.
You're thinking of hummus.
I thought you said you didn't like
I often get them
guacamole.
confused.
You get them confused? Okay.
They're both not visually appealing to the eye dips, but hummus I've had several times, and it's just, and I know it's not that I hate it. It's just like, why would anybody eat this? It's not good.
Wow, the hummus people are going to come after you.
That's okay. I'll take their slings and arrows. But guacamole, I'm starting to wonder if maybe I've been a little too harsh on guacamole.
Did you recently give it a shot again?
I ate, and here's what I'm wondering. I don't know if I actually, it would be a stretch for me to say like guacamole, I guess, first of all.
Okay.
Secondly, is that I don't know if I even tolerate it really, or if it's just because the thing I was eating that also had guacamole was good, and so that made me think maybe guacamole isn't bad. So what it was empanadas.
Ooh.
But they were and they were good.
I love empanadas.
But they were served on like a bed of guacamole, kind of like there was guacamole under it. It wasn't like that would make it soggy, but it wasn't that way.
Yeah.
But the guacamole was there, and I kind of started like they already had guacamole on it, so I was like, maybe I'll dip it a little bit, and it was like, okay, it's this is all right. And so now I'm like, should I start eating guacamole?
Ooh.
And so
you think you're gonna try it?
Yeah.
Like separately, away from the empanadas, and see if you like it?
Nobody eats guacamole with a spoon, right?
No, but I mean, like maybe with some chips or something that allows you to have the guac fully, the full guac experience.
Yeah, I should go to Chipotle. Where do you get good guacamole?
I mean, you could get guac from Chipotle and have it with like whatever you want to try it with, whether it be the chips, or I know some people that like to put it on their, burrito or in their bowl or whatever. So yeah, you could try it that way. That's a good.
In a burrito bowl.
Yeah.
Does it go? Here's what I don't know. Does it go like in a burrito? Could I put a scoop of guac inside?
I personally haven't done that, but I don't think there's any reason why you can't.
Because otherwise, I can definitely picture, because this is what I did with the empanadas, dipping a burrito in guac and that being fine.
I think some people do that.
So why not just put it right inside?
I mean, sure.
And say that.
I don't think there's any rules to this. I think
no
you can
rules.
do.
What are the recommendations? I know nobody's going to tell me to not. Nobody's going to text in and say, Hudson, don't eat guacamole.
Yeah, no, because those that will text in are probably going to be guac fans.
Yeah.
So they're going to tell you how to enjoy guacamole.
And even like for me, I don't like hummus. I don't want to tell anybody else to not eat hummus.
Yeah.
If they're like, I think I might be kind of starting to like it, I wouldn't sell.
Yeah, you're not going to discourage them.
Yeah, I
think,
just know I don't like it.
I think for me, the times when I enjoy guac the most are with nachos. So that might be where I would go first.
But here's the thing. I can't imagine guac with nachos being better than nacho cheese. So then it's like,
but
why?
You do both.
You do both? Like on the same chip?
Yes. It's all piled on together.
Rebecca says I mix my guac with salsa.
Ooh.
I like salsa too. I like some salsa.
Okay.
But I have the same problem with salsa, is that it's good with chips, but not as good as queso.
Yeah,
so
queso
then I kind of
is
want to
the
go
best.
queso instead.
Queso is
Regina, going back to the hummus thing, says you have to try chocolate hummus. Regina, I have. That's the first thing everybody always says. And you know what? I didn't like that much either.
I don't think I've tried chocolate hummus.
And if the one thing people go, you have to try this, and I still don't think it's very good, then I just know I don't like it.
Yeah.
People are texting in suggestions for how I should start to experiment with guac, which this is so, like, do you understand my embarrassment? I'm a grown man, and I'm only now starting to be like, maybe I can kind of eat this thing that lots of people enjoy. I feel like such a baby for not liking it.
Everybody has that experience with something they had like either preconceived notions about that they thought they weren't going to like, or maybe they tried it when they were a kid and they didn't like it and they just haven't tried it since. Everybody has those.
Yeah. I mean, I have a whole long list of things that I definitely was afraid to eat when I was a kid, and now it's fine.
Yeah.
Most of them are white dairy products.
Oh, really?
Like sour cream and mayonnaise.
Most of the stuff for me is texture stuff. I was like, ooh, the texture looks weird when I was a kid. But then as I've gotten older, I finally tried it. And I was like, why did I deny myself this goodness?
I never grew out of that.
Oh, really?
I still have texture problems. But some suggestions, people telling me what I should do to get into guac, is Mindy, who said, you can add guacamole to whatever you want. It's delicious, and homemade will always be better than the restaurants.
I mean, I feel like that's generally true for a lot of things, right? Homemade is always better.
Yeah, but let me ease into this.
Yeah.
Let me experiment with more than one meal with guac at a restaurant
before you start making it at home.
I start trying to make it at home. Yeah, that's a too much of a commitment. Mickey says homemade guacamole with mango is really good.
Oh, I've never even heard of that being a combo.
That reminds me though. So tomorrow on the show we have a food fight coming up.
Yes.
And it's oddly enough with the new guacamole Doritos.
Okay.
And they're supposed to be paired with a Mountain Dew, which we also have a new Mountain Dew.
Uh-huh.
Is it a mango Mountain Dew? Now I don't remember.
I thought it was like a at night or something.
I don't know. I have it in the other room.
Oh,
it's got.
You're gonna go run and.
I need to put it in the fridge, but I don't know. What if it is mango? That would make a lot of sense.
That would be crazy because I've never heard of that combo before, Mickey. So, but if that is truly like the combo that people, tell you to try, I've never heard that.
I said people don't eat guac with a spoon, right? And then Dee says, yes, people do eat guacamole with a spoon. It's called guacamole salad, served on a bed of lettuce with tomatoes on the side or on top. And my mom made that stuff at the time with, and then H-E-B, the grocery store, makes bacon-topped guacamole. Now we're talking.
Ooh, that does sound good.
I don't think I could do the guacamole salad.
I don't think I could do the guacamole salad either. I'm not enough of a guac fan to eat it on its own. I like to have it with a lot of extra things, like I mentioned, the nachos. And when I'm talking about nachos, I'm not talking like baseball game nachos. I'm talking like restaurant nachos that are loaded up
shareable for the table.
Loaded up with a whole bunch of stuff.
And then Wendy says, and this might be where I go. this might be my way in.
Okay.
7-layer dip.
Ooh, yes.
'Cause
7-layer dip is so good.
I already know I like so many of the other layers of the dip.
Yes.
What are the layers? Sour cream, refried beans are good, right? What else is in there?
I mean,
That's only 2. Guac would be 3.
probably like queso or some type of cheese.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Ground beef, right?
Yes.
Seasoned beef.
That sounds right. Maybe
I don't know.
salsa.
Yeah.
It's 7 layers. It's a lot of things.
Yeah.
Also, Susanna's really proud of you right now.
I know. I'm afraid this is the other thing. I'm afraid this is going to convince people like Susanna that like now I'm going to start doing other foods.
Well,
And I'm not getting adventurous. It's just I stumbled upon one
This could
thing.
be a gateway for you, though.
It's not. It's definitely
to
not.
stop being a picky eater.
No, I don't even think I'm that picky.
Well, I mean, you did say you have a whole list of things.
That I didn't like when I was a kid.
But
now,
you've tried them now.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this is the first one in several years, I
That
think.
you've tried. Yeah.
If you missed it, our RadioU socials team posted out something great yesterday on at RadioU Official on Instagram. You can find it on our Facebook page too. It's a photo of all of us in the new RadioU Jeep, our station vehicle. And they just said, who's the most likely to get a speeding ticket? Nene, Hudson, or Allie? And Allie, have you seen the comments?
I have.
Yeah.
I have seen the comments, everyone.
8772 Radio U. Chime in if you haven't yet. Who do you think between the three of us, Nene, Allie, and myself, who's the most likely to get a speeding ticket?
One time.
No, on Instagram or Facebook, nobody said me.
What? And you are the one person behind the wheel.
I know. I'm behind.
Why, people? Why?
People know that I'm a safe driver.
You have bad
I'm responsible.
eyesight.
I'm
How
responsible.
Are you a safe driver?
Okay, now you're attacking me. You're attacking me.
I'm just trying to come up with reasons for at least one person to choose you.
Yeah, there's so
How is it even
many
possible that
people.
not even one person was like, oh, no one chose Hudson. Let me choose Hudson.
I know, and there's a decent amount of comments, and not one person
Not
said
one.
me.
Everybody went me or Nene, and I think the majority went with me.
Yeah.
What is up with that?
Yeah. I'm looking here through the comments. Katrina said definitely Allie. Christy said Nene, but Allie is more likely to hit a cone. Is there a story behind that?
There is a story behind that. So that's my cousin Christy, and my nickname in my family is Cone Killer because one time I was driving my cousin Kathy to work.
Mm-hmm.
Like we worked at a similar area of town, and so she was getting work done on her car, and I was driving her to work, and then I was going to work after that. And there was like a lane blocked for a car that was getting picked up by a tow truck.
Uh-huh.
And the tow truck guy had a cone out to like let people know that part of the lane was partially blocked. And I somehow missed that cone. I knock it over, like I run over the cone. And
So you didn't see that the cone was there?
I didn't see it because it was a small cone. It's not like a big barrel.
Uh-huh.
And
Isn't the point of the cone to be like visible and like bring attention
to be
it?
like, don't hit my car,
Uh-huh.
or don't hit the tow truck, don't hit the tow truck driver.
Yeah.
And I run over the cone, I hear a noise, and I was like, whoa, what was that? And my cousin Kathy was like, that was the guy's cone. And she was like, how did you not see that? So ever since then, I've been known as Cone Killer.
Wow. That is, how big was it like one of those cones that's like actually that when you're playing kickball when you're a kid and you use it as a base, like one of those really tiny ones?
No, it's not like a small little like soccer drill cone.
Okay, so you should have seen it.
It's probably like the size of a regular tire, like height wise.
Yeah.
So it's not like a normal one that you would see on a road for construction, but it's definitely not tiny.
So it's starting to check out that you might be the most likely to get a speeding ticket.
Well, at least the most likely to maybe run over a curb or something.
Aaron said Nene. Kathy said Nene for sure. Albert said, why do I think Allie?
His comment killed me.
And Gary and Brandon both just simply said Allie. So without any thought put
No
into
explanation.
Now Regina said Hudson or Nene for sure.
Oh, wait, I didn't see that comment.
That she texted that in at 8772 Radio U.
Thank you, Regina.
So she's giving you the benefit of the doubt. And Philip said, I would say Nikki, which actually checks out. She has gotten speeding tickets in the RadioU vehicles before.
Really?
Yeah, very own Nikki.
She's got a lead foot?
Yeah, a little bit. When was the last time you got a speeding ticket, Allie?
I've never gotten one.
You've never gotten one, and everybody here in the comments is dragging you like you're the one that's most likely to get a speeding ticket.
I've never gotten one. I've never been pulled over. Nothing.
I think it's Nene.
You think Nene's our speedster?
Yeah, I have gotten speeding tickets in the past, but it's been a long time. I was a bad driver. I'm still not a good driver, but I just know how to not cause trouble.
How to not get caught.
Which I guess maybe makes me a good driver. But
Okay.
Nene,
Has Nene gotten a ticket before?
I think so.
Okay.
He would admit, too, that he drives like it's Mario Kart out there. So I think
okay.
it's got to be Nene.
Okay.
But if you're not following us at RadioU Official on Instagram, you're missing out on this kind of stuff, these kind of debates.
You got to follow
fun.
us.
Follow us at RadioU Official.
Thanks for listening to the RadioU Podcast. Don't forget to rate and review the show.